Okay guys, this is your Andy Warhol tutorial. I'm sure you guys have seen this image before. It was created by Andy Warhol, and he did it as part of a series of pieces of art where he would take this kind of a silk screen effect and apply it to celebrities and to everyday objects like the Campbell soup can. Some of you may have seen that. We're going to be working on this, and I have a photo of my father that I've cropped to 2 inches by 3 inches at a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. We're going to use 4 of these because we're going to do 4 sets of colors. But I'll go through just one set and I'll give you tips on how to change the colors. Now the key to this project is an image adjustment called threshold. Now basically what that does is it takes out pretty much all the color and turns it into a black and white image. By default you'll see that it's pretty decent. You can recognize my father, at least I can. There's a little bit of detail here and there, but as you move it all the way to the left or all the way to the right, you get either all white or all black. As you slowly bring it in, you start to see varying degrees of detail. If I bring it as close to the left as I can, you start to see detail in the shirt, but everything else pretty much disappears. Right about halfway, you start to see some good detail in my father's face, but his hair has virtually disappeared. Now my dad's hair is all white, so I'm going to go all the way to the black side, and I'm going to come in nice and slow until I start to see a little bit of black in his hair. That'll define the hair. I don't need much more than this. It's just enough to give it some texture and define it. Now what we're going to have to do though is actually take out different pieces of this image so that we can have the amount of detail in each section that we want. So we're going to have a separate layer for the face, for the hair, for the shirt, and for the background. You'll notice here I have a pretty good level for the shirt. It shows me enough white that the color will come through. Now I'm going to select my pen tool. First I'm going to zoom in, because what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to delete the background. So I'm going to select my pen tool and I'm going to start following the edges of the background where the background meets the face. Now the more you're zoomed in here and the more dots or points you create, the better. For hair it can be very tricky. You might have to zoom in quite a bit to get around some curls. My dad's hair isn't too bad, so I can go around fairly easily. The more care you take in this, the better. You can always come back and delete more of the hair. Let's say there's remnants of the background, you can delete that. It's not a problem. But right now try to get it as close as possible. Now you can also you can make a mistake here, and you can use your Command Z or Command Alt Z to go back. So you can go back several steps and then recreate the points. Now I'm not zoomed in too much here because I don't want to spend too much time. So you'll notice here I even used the little curve feature. It's really a good idea when you're going around, let's say, an ear or the side of a face. Get some curves, but if you do a bunch of points as well, it can mimic a curve. Well, now I've finished the selection, but unfortunately I changed the color of the background. So you basically right-click on the lines that you just created and select Make Selection. Click OK, and that's your selection. And now what you can do for the background is just delete it. You don't need the background at all. And there I just changed my background back, my work area, workspace to gray. Now you'll see here there's still remnants of the background. I'm going to delete it by using my paintbrush. My eraser. And I can go in very carefully and just delete parts of the background. Again, the more care you take, the more precise you are, the closer you're zoomed in, the better. Again, hair is a really tricky part, so you probably want to take your time with that. You'll notice here I'm eating up a little bit of his hair. He doesn't have much left, but he'll be okay with that. Now, as you can see here, I have some hard edges because I didn't do my points very well. I don't want this tutorial to last too long, but the longer you spend on the pen tool, the better your results will be. That way you won't have to sit there and correct, the curvature of the ear or anything like that. So I have a little bit more of the background here. I'm going to really roughly kind of take it out. Over here as well. And right there you'll notice there's a little bit in the background. Okay. Right now it's good enough. I can show you the actual size. And now what we're going to do is actually take out the hair. Depending on the type of hair that your person has, or your subject has, the harder or the easier it's going to be. Simple, clean cut boy's hair is a lot easier than, let's say, a very, very curly girl's hair or very flowy hair. So you just want to be as careful as you can. Make a decision whether you want to keep certain strands of hair. You want to go around things like glasses, so you're not selecting the glasses. Again, I'm being pretty rough here, but then you don't need to do the outside of the hair because that's going to be part of the background anyway. Okay, so now I've selected the hair. I could have done a much better job with that, but now I pasted it in place. That's a really cool feature because then you're not pasting it and then trying to line it up. It'll paste it exactly where it is. Well, now I'm going to select the shirt. Obviously, I've sped this up quite a bit, so it's going to take you a lot longer. But just to give you an idea. I made the selection, and I'm copying it and pasting it in place, and I'm going to rename it to shirt. Now I'm going to go ahead and, using the paint bucket, I'm going to select the background and color it red. You can select any color, doesn't matter. And now I'm going to start doing the threshold on each of these layers. Now don't forget that each of these layers are going to need a different threshold setting. So for the hair, I'm going to go as close to the black as I can to keep some texture in the hair. Not too much texture because my dad's hair is white. For the shirt, I'm going to go really low for the setting because it's a dark shirt. Just enough white and black so that the color can shine through. And for the skin, setting somewhere in the middle. Every picture is going to have different settings, so I'm not going to tell you which settings to use. That looks about right. Now I'm going to colorize the different sections using hue and saturation. You select colorize and you use hue and saturation to select the actual color. But first, before you do that, you're going to have to put your saturation to maximum and then play around with the lightness. It has to be on the dark side. If it's on the light side, then you're just coloring the black, but you don't want that. You want to be coloring in the white area and retain the black color. So now I'm using the hue and saturation, just the hue, to select the color that I want. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the hair and the shirt in fast forward, just so that you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can have a lot of fun with the different colors, just be creative. You can also do the whites of the eyes, or if it's a girl, you could do, let's say, lipstick. Obviously my dad would be really upset at me if I used lipstick on him. But now that you have the different segments, you can easily play around with the colors by just going back to your hue and saturation and playing around with the hue. You just have to mess around with the settings a little bit, make sure your saturation's all the way up, and then you can just select whatever colors you want. I'm going to fast forward through me playing around with the hue on the different segments. It gives you the most control. For a shortcut, you could flatten the image and just use hue, and that would change all 4 colors at a time. Now that I'm done with my color changes, I'm going to select the whole image by using select all or clicking Command A. And then I'm going to copy merge. That's going to copy all the layers together. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new image that is 1200 by 1800 pixels, or basically 4 inches by 6 inches. That is 4 times the size of the actual image that I just created, so I can put 4 copies of it. So now I can just paste, and now I've pasted that image, and I'll put it in one corner. I can go back and do all my different colors and change them, and then copy merged, and then I can come back to this image and paste the second, third, and fourth variations of my image. And you will have a pretty cool looking piece of art that mimics Andy Warhol's effect that pretty much made him famous.